Hey folks, Brother Sam here for the Restoration Group, building God's kingdom in you. You can feel free to check us out over at restorationgroup.org. As well, you can also subscribe by hitting that button, hit like, share, and tap on that little bell if you want to get the notifications whenever we're live or we're releasing another video. I want to talk today about a very sensitive topic, and we're going to do a series on this because I can't really address it in one video. Some people are trying to address it right now, but I do believe that they're addressing it in a flawed manner because we're going along with the popular narratives, which are patently not true. And we're going to, later in the series, we're going to do a video on the power of narrative and how narratives are constructed in order to direct your belief and direct your perception so that they can misdirect you and they can get you believing the wrong thing so you never solve the problem. Because if you never identify the problem, if you never diagnose it correctly, you're always going to be treating the wrong thing. And but I'm getting ahead of myself there. But we're going to talk about that later in detail later in the series. But suffice to say for now that if we don't properly diagnose a problem, most likely we're not going to solve it. And what we're going to start getting into, and we're going to do our deep dive into the subject over the course of a bunch of videos. And just to give you just a little forewarning, some of the things I may say may make you uncomfortable. I'm going to attempt to say it with some sensitivity and compassion. But if I do happen to bug you, or if I happen to say something you don't like, charge it to my head, not my heart. Because my motive here is I want you to have the truth. I want you to be set free from the layers of deceit that have been put before you so that you can't properly perceive what's going on and you're always stuck in this cycle that we've been in, which is largely deceit driven. But anyhow, where I want to start is in John chapter 8. We're going to look at a few scriptures tonight. Like I said, we're going to take a bit of a journey through the scriptures over the next few videos. And if you want to give this a title, we can call it Why We Inherit the Wind. Because the race issue is actually just symptomatic of deeper issues and why we're not really walking in our spiritual inheritance, why we're really not achieving what we could or what we should as the body of Christ, why we don't have the spiritual authority that we should have. Why there's so much bondage in the church. All these things are interrelated. They all interconnect. Because on so many levels we are deceived, and so we are unable to become who we were intended to be. And how do we know that for sure? Well, in John 8:32, Jesus says, "And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." If you don't know the truth, you can't possibly be free. And if there are areas in which you have a distorted image of what the truth is, you will always be bound in some way, shape, or form. You may not be completely bound, but you're going to have some restrictions. You're going to have limitations that you shouldn't have had on your life because you don't have the truth. Even looking at this from a practical or pragmatic standpoint, all of us, every human being on the face of the earth makes decisions based on truth or based on what they think is the truth. You cross the street, what do? You look both ways to make sure that it's safe to do so. And when you believe that it is safe to do so, it appears to be true that no car is coming, nobody's going to run you over, you cross the street. You don't cross the street because you think somebody's coming. We know that. This is how we make decisions. So if your perception of truth is flawed, if it's contaminated, or if it's just plain wrong, you're going to make the wrong decisions. And decisions drive destiny. Every decision you make has a direction to it. If you think I'm wrong about this, just review your life sometime and review the major decisions you've made in your life. Make a list, write them down, and watch. It leads in a certain direction. And most of us, even our decision-making process, is based on truth that we've internalized, or things that we've internalized that we think are the truth but aren't. And that's part of subject for another video. We're going to talk about trusting the truth. Because a lot of us, we believe things that aren't even true. And we've internalized it. And some of these things, we're not even consciously aware of it. And it drives our decision making. It's why you can move across the country to a whole different city, whole different style of living there. You move from north to the south, but you got the same kind of friends. You occupy the same position in the circle of friends that you have there that you did in the other circle of friends. You got the same kind of problems on your job, same kind of drama, same kind of relationship issues. Why? Because your decisions have been driven by that internalized perception of truth, those firmly held beliefs, that your core beliefs that you may not even be consciously aware of, that you think are the truth, and they affect every decision you make. And so you get stuck in the cycle, not just with regard to race, with regard to everything. And it's been done to all of us. And we're going to address that because all of us think our experience is so unique. Maybe on an individual level, our experience is unique, and even then we've got a lot of commonality. But we've been tricked into believing that we have a unique cultural experience or a unique racial experience. The black experience, the white experience, the Puerto Rican experience, the Mexican experience, the Japanese experience. No. You don't have a black experience. You don't have a white experience. What you have is, I got tricked by the devil experience. And that's happened to everybody, just in different flavors. The Bible says he deceived the whole world. That's everybody. He may have done it to you in a different way than he did to me, but we both got tricked. And part of the trick is see, if you can believe that your experience is so unique and it only happens to you and it's been worse for you than anybody else, well, then you got the position of the victim, and you can use that to justify behavior that otherwise you couldn't be able to justify. And anything that you have to justify, you're probably wrong. If you got to justify it, you probably shouldn't do it. And here's another thing. Anything that you have to justify is not justified by God. Because either the blood has covered it or it has not. And if I'm justifying something, then it is under my righteousness. By definition, it is self-righteousness. I'm the victim. I've been treated so horribly, and this is why I behave this way. Self-righteousness. Whether that's on a personal level or on a cultural level. You have to know the truth to be free. And like I said, I want you to be free. That's what we're going to be addressing in these next few videos. I hope this is useful. If it was, feel free to share. Meanwhile, God bless you and God keep you. Brother Sam signing out.